Today topic is atomic spectra and models. So, what is the meaning of atomic spectra? Atomic means spectra means where we can see the different types of colors or wavelengths. That is a spectra. So, if the spectra is formed because of the atom, then that is atomic spectra. And there are the certain models are there to explain about the atoms. So those models are also given. So before that, there is a small introduction about the atomic spectra. In the 19th century, it was clear to the scientists that chemical elements consist of atom. Each electron is one of the fundamental constituent particles, but it was invented by the J.J. Thomson. Electrons are negatively charged particles, but atom as a whole is electrically neutral. Hence, it becomes clear that the atom must also contain positively charged material to balance negative charge of the electrons. So, what is the meaning of this? Suppose there is a one atom and that atom consists of a positive core at the central, and the positive core, around that positive core the negative charges will move. Those negative charges are electrons. And here to explain about atomic structure, several theories have been proposed, and those theories are: the first theory is a Thomson plum pudding model, Rutherford nuclear model, Bohr's model, Sommerfeld relativistics model, and vector and here and a vector model, and a wave mechanical model. Wave mechanical model is a quantum model, right? So like this, these are the few models to explain the atomic structure. But among them, we cannot, I'm not explaining all the models. A few model I'm going to explain here. So, and the next here, inadequacy of classical physics. What is the meaning of inadequacy? Inadequacy means certain limitations are there. So that means the physics, classical physics or Newtonian physics, it cannot explain certain things, right? So what are those? The classical concept cannot be applied to atomic phenomena. Yes, this is generally classical concept cannot be applied. It is the first inadequacy of classical physics. So generally, classical physics is applied to the heavy object such as a stone or aeroplane. For example, aeroplane. Such bodies are, if they are moving, for those only this classical physics is applicable. But motion of electron in atom. So this classical physics cannot explain the motion of the electron in atom. So that is the main one of the drawbacks or inadequacy of classical physics. And next, classical mechanics fail to explain the stability of the atom. So basically, atom, it is a neutral, right? A neutral means positive charges, how many present, the same number of negative charges also present. So then it is generally, it is stable, more stability or stable, or it is a neutral. But according to Rutherford, what he said, he calculated and he explained the atom contain the most of the space, but at the center only, what a certain portion, certain mass will present, that is the nucleus. All right. While electron is revolving around the nucleus, it continuously what happens to release the energy, and then what it has to do, it may stop, right? So after completing its energy, it may collapse with the nucleus, and then atom cannot exist. When the atom cannot exist, then universe also cannot exist. But it is existing. That is meaning of what electron is while revolving, it cannot radiate energy, right? So that couldn't explain by the classical mechanics. Classical mechanics it is a fail to explain the spectrum of hydrogen atom. So hydrogen atom, the spectrum found by the hydrogen atom, it cannot be explained, and it couldn't explain the observed spectrum of black body. So when the black body means a body which receives all the wavelength or a body which emits all wavelength. So then it may form a spectrum. That spectrum is not explained by the classical physics. So that is one of the limitations. And then next, it couldn't explain observed variation of specific heat of metal and gases. All right. So observed value is not matched with the real value of metals and gases. So it is explained to it is failed to explain the specific heat of metals and gases. And next is what the classical mechanics failed to explain photoelectric effect and Compton effect, right? So already I explained you, and photo is also that is also uploaded, that photoelectric effect is not explained by this. Why? Because the photoelectric effect is when the light falls on the photometals or metals, then electrons are ejected. But electron is a very minute particle, so minute object cannot be minute object properties cannot be explained by the classical physics, and Compton effect also. So like this, these are the few drawbacks or limitations of classical physics are. So these limitations are called inadequacy of classical physics. And then next, Bohr's model. See, it is one of our models. So here, how many models are explained? Thomson plum pudding model, Rutherford's nuclear model, Bohr's model, Sommerfeld relativistic model, vector model, wave mechanical model. Among them, I am going to explain about Bohr's model. See here the Bohr's model. So Bohr model, see Bohr's atomic model. So about atoms, certain things he explained. So what are those? Let me explain. Bohr developed his theory of atomic structure, by retaining the two essential features of Rutherford's planetary model. So generally, what is the Rutherford planetary model? Rutherford, he assumed he compared atom with the solar system. So, or it is a planetary model. So in the planetary model means in the solar system, what happens? Sun present at one of its foci, and all the planets revolve around the sun. So like this, how the planets are revolving around the nucleus in the same manner, around the nucleus, electrons also revolves. He compared like this, right? So that is a planetary model of Rutherford, and the first essential features of Rutherford is according to Bohr features are, see, the first one is atom consists of a central positive charged hard core is called a nucleus, right? Just now I explained, and this is also proved by the Rutherford. So Rutherford alpha scattering. So when alpha particles are traveling towards thin, very much thin gold file, then the few atoms, what is happening? Few atoms are scattering. So generally, when the atoms scatter, when the alpha particles scatter, when there is one more positive charge is present, then only they scatter. Otherwise, they may attract if there is a negative charge. Why? Because alpha particle is a positively charged particles. Like, and most of the particles are travel straightly. A few particles are scattered. So where the particles are scattered, he assumed that there is a hard core. There is a hard core. That hard core, he explained, he said as there is a nucleus, right? And the second one is electron revolving around the nucleus in circular orbit. So according to Bohr model, the orbit or path of electrons around the nucleus is circular orbit. The outward centrifugal force, the force which acts away from the center, that is centrifugal force, is balanced by the net electrostatic attraction towards the nucleus. So when a nucleus is revolving around when the electron is revolving around the nucleus, then what happens? Electron may possess two types of forces. One is a centrifugal force, other one is centripetal force. And that centripetal force is nothing but is electrostatic attraction, right? So that is attraction between the positive and negative charges. So when these two forces balance, then the electron may revolve in a circular path around the nucleus only. It cannot move away from the path. Next, third point is according to Bohr's model, he assumed, who Bohr assumed that an electron in the field of nucleus is not capable of moving along each of the paths that were possible only on the basis of classical theory, but electron can move along one of along one of the discrete set of allowed paths. So electron cannot path always in all the paths around the nucleus in circular orbit. So it is for certain path only electron can move, and those paths are discrete set of allowed paths, right? Discrete means that is a figured or 1, 2, 3 like this, or three for 1, 3 like 9 in this manner. Those paths only electron can. The only these orbits are possible for which orbital angular momentum of electron is equal to right, is equal to an integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So the angular momentum of electron is always equal to nh by 2 pi. N is the integral multiples of what, h by 2 pi. So for these type of path only electron can move. So that is the meaning of this. Where n means it is numbering 1, 2, 3, so on. One can indicate as first and second, third orbits respectively, and h is what? H is the Planck's constant, right? And the next here, no energy, it is the fourth point, no energy is radiated by the electron as long as it remains in its definite or stationary orbit, right? What is the meaning of this? No energy is radiated. When the electron is revolving around the nucleus, then it cannot emit any radiation. It cannot give any energy outside. That is the meaning of this, right? It cannot give any energy, right? And those energy states are called stationary energy. Those orbits are called stationary orbits, right? And the permitted orbits are non-radiation path of electron, right? Like this, they cannot radiate. Non-radiation means they cannot emit any energy while they are moving, while they are circulating in their orbit. Next, last point is that is the fifth point. The radiation of energy takes place only when an electron jump from one permitted orbit of the higher energy to permitted orbit of the lower energy, and the difference of energy radiated and must be quantum of energy, that is the h. What is he saying? Suppose it is a nucleus, for example, see here. Let it is a nucleus. Okay. Around the nucleus, what many it is a path of the electron, and it is a second path of electron. Okay, and it is its energy is let E1, and its energy is E2. That means it is its energy is E2. It is higher always. E2 is higher than U. Suppose one electron is revolving, let that is here. When it is a jump from here to in this part here, then what happens? It emits radiation. It emits energy in the form of a wave. And this energy is how much? That must be equal to a difference of two energies only, that is equals to h nu. That is the meaning of, okay, right? And the next, it is like this, it is a difference of energies h nu. And the next, force, no, it is a see, it is in general, it is in general. These 5 points are general. But now what I am doing, Bohr is what he applied his theory to the hydrogen atom. So what he explained about the hydrogen atom by using this theory. Bohr's theory of hydrogen atom is based on the following assumptions. What we explained, what I explained just now in above, those points may present here. So among the only few points, the 3 points will present. And now what are those points? Let me explain. An electron in atom moves in a circular orbit. Yes, that is always correct. Suppose if it is a nucleus, around the nucleus it is an electron, it always travel in circular form. Okay. Orbit about the circular orbit about the nucleus under the influence of Coulombic force. Coulomb force. Coulomb force is in between the force of attraction between the two charges. That is attraction between electrons and nucleus. And next, as the atom is balanced by the Newtonian centrifugal force. So Newtonian centrifugal, so generally that classical physics is a Newtonian physics. Okay. And see here, when it is revolving, and what I explained, the centrifugal force will act, and as well as electrostatic attraction will act, I explained. So what is the centrifugal force? Centrifugal force is mv squared by r, where v is the velocity of electron, r is the distance from an electron to center of the nucleus, right? And next here, see here. Here, 2 charge E square by E generally Q1, Q2 by 4, 5 epsilon, me right, in general, Q1, Q2 by 4, 5 epsilon naught. Here, what is generally? Potential energy is a kinetic energy general in general. See, it is the energy. How we get? That is a Q1, Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. That is the formula. So here the Q is let it is a charge of the electron, it is a charge of the nucleus. Charge of the electron is E, and the charge of the nucleus, magnitude of nucleus is also E. So E into E, it becomes E square. So like this. Okay. So here this force, the electrostatic attraction force, will act in this direction, and it acts in this direction. So when these two forces balances, then electron continuously revolve in this path only. But these forces are balancing, so that is the balance forces here again. Next, only these orbits are possible for which the orbital angular momentum of the electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So just now in the Bohr's theory, I explained you angular momentum is always equal to my integral multiple of h by 2 pi. That is. And in generally, h by 2 pi is also written as a h cross r, right? Is also written in the form of h cross. So that is, I will show you later. H cross here. H cross, how we write? H cut or h cross we read. So what is h cross? That is a h by 2 pi. H by 2 pi is called h cross. Okay. And the next, the electron moving in a such allowed orbit does not radiate electromagnetic radiation. Thus, total energy of electron revolving in any one of the so many orbit stationary orbit remain constant. Okay, so the electron moving in such allowed orbit does not radiate. So just now I explained you, when an electron is revolving around the nucleus, it cannot emit any energy. When it is moving like this, it cannot emit any energy. When it emits, when it jumps from higher level to lower level, next to ground level, then only it release the energy. Electromagnetic radiations are emitted if an electron jumps from stationary orbit of E2 to another stationary orbit of lower energy E1. It is higher energy, it is lower energy. The frequency nu of the emitted radiation is related by the equation just now. E2 minus E1 is equal to actually when it is what is we are doing, it is applying to the hydrogen orbit. Now there are the certain factors are there that is Bohr's calculated. So let me explain one by one. Now what we have to calculate here? Calculating a radius of the Bohr's orbit. So orbit radius of the Bohr orbit, first orbit or second orbit. In general formula we are going to calculate. For this, what I'm doing, only these orbits are possible by for which orbital angular momentum of electron is equal to integral. Just now I explained you, mvr is equal to nh by 2. So from this, v is equal to bring m and v that side, then it is the equation. Let it is equation 1. And the next, it is what? It is the velocity only. What we have to calculate? Radius. And now see, an electron in an atom moves in circular orbit about the nucleus under the influence of Coulombic force of attraction between the electron and a nucleus, as the atom is balanced by the Newtonian centrifugal force. Right? Here it is a equation 1 and it is a equation 2. So it is a Newtonian force. So this is already explained in our assumptions. So it is a what at Coulombic attraction force, and it is a this is the centrifugal force. These two forces balances. And from this, see here, when these two equations are balanced from this, in the place of v, mv square by r is there. In the place of v, substitute this whole thing and here like this and simplify it, then we get r value. Okay. So after simplifying and certain cancellations will be done, m gets cancelled like this, and r square this r square will cancel, 4 cancel, and here pi square 1 pi will be present here down, and m here m only m square, so 1 cancel, 1 remains here. So like this, it is the radius of the Bohr. So radius of the first Bohr, it is in general Rn, right here, right? It has Rn, and you substitute 1 r n is equals to 1, n is equals to 1, then r1 is equals to 0.54 529 for -9 meters. It is in terms of angstrom. Angstrom is 0.529 angstrom, right? So this is in angstrom. Like this, it is a first radius. Unlike this, for the second orbit, we can calculate radius, third orbit, fourth orbit. And next, velocity of revolving electron. When the electron is revolve around the nucleus, then what is its velocity? Okay, so let me calculate its velocity. So already we know the equation mvr is by 2 pi. Substituting this equation in 3, it is in equation 3 in equation 4. That means here there is only equation, and see it is equation 3, and this is equation 4. So this third equation, r value, this r value, where we have to substitute, at this point, right? So it is the place of r we substitute, and now right from this we is equals to keep here we only remain all those terms, so bring that side, and then what things this pi cancel, and next again here 1n, here n square is there, n cancel, 1n cancel, here 1h cancel, and e square cancel, e square by 2 and h epsilon. It is what? It is the velocity of electron where it is revolving around the nucleus, right? This expression shows the velocity of the electron proportional to the n. As the n value increases, v value decreases. That is the mean. So that means what? When the electron is see here, when the electron, when suppose it is a nucleus, right? It is a nucleus. and it is a first orbit and a second orbit. Second orbit. So the electron, when it is revolving here, it is velocity is very much high comparing to where it is revolving in this path. Why? Because its path n value is a 1, its n value is what? It is a 2. So when n value increases, velocity decreases. When value n decreases, velocity increases. So here the more velocity, it travels with the higher velocity, and here it travels the lower velocity. So that is the meaning of this. Okay. And the next. Next, orbital frequency and time period. Time period means what? Time taken by the electron to complete just one revolution. Just a one revolution. How much time it takes to complete one revolution? Suppose it is a nucleus, and here one electron is here. Suppose it starting to revolving around the nucleus. So from here to here. So from this point to again this point, how much time is taken? That time is called time period, and that time period is that time period will be calculated as follows. See here, how can we calculate? So here, frequency, we know the frequency is inversely proportional to the time period, right? So, and V is equals to velocity, it is V is equals to velocity by 2 pi r. Frequency is velocity by 2 pi r. So, it is a basic formula. Why? Because here time is there. See here, time. T is what you know. T is equals to, everybody know, distance by velocity. Our velocity is equals to distance by time. So time is equals to velocity. It is a distance by velocity. See here, time is where in denominator. So that is why velocity come upside and a distance come downside. A distance means total distance covered by the electron is in one circular is 2 pi r. Right? 2 pi r is a distance. So that is why it is in denominator, velocity goes upside and distance come downside. So that is why frequency is V by 2 pi r. Okay. And now already velocity formula we know, right? Substitute V value and R value. So V value and R value. So substitute V value here, R value here. So like this, we get in this manner. And here frequency is equals to, see this will comes, and here what are the certain things will be cancelled. So it is a frequency. So orbital frequency also we have to calculate, and time period. Its reciprocal means reverse it, simply we get time period. So like this, this is the time period of electron around the nucleus. The next one is electron energy. See, this is electron energy. How can we calculate electron energy? Electron energy consists of two types. One is kinetic energy, and other one is a potential energy. Kinetic energy. See, the kinetic energy is due to the motion of the electron only. That is everybody knows. And its value is half mv square. Where is the velocity of electron? See, already we have calculated the velocity formula. So see, this is the velocity formula. So substitute that velocity formula here, then you get kinetic energy in this manner. That is the m e power of 4 by 8 n square h square epsilon naught square. Next, electron energy means total energy we have to calculate. So like this, kinetic energy is calculated. Next, potential energy. The potential energy is due to, it is due to what? It is because of electron lies in the electric field of positive nucleus. We know. So that means this comes with the attraction between the electrons and the nucleus. So, see, it is a potential. It is a potential of the electron. So it is energy of the electron. Potential of an electron. So V is equals to E by 4 pi epsilon 2. But the potential energy can be written as the potential energy is equals to potential into a negative charge. Potential into negative charge. See, potential into negative charge. Potential formula is substitute, and a negative, it becomes here one more negative. So minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught into R. And now we get E square by, and velocity is, sorry, it is potential. So E square by 4 pi epsilon naught into Here 1 by r is there. 1 by r value. So r value is n square h square epsilon naught by pi m e square. But 1 by means upside down. Upside. So downside value up to upside value down. Means our denominator value numerator, numerator value denominator. Okay. So now what are things gets cancelled here? Pi. Okay. And only pi will get cancelled. But upside is e square e power of 4 will get. So 4n square e square n square h square epsilon naught square. It is a potential energy. We didn't calculate still now total energy. So here the total energy we have to. Now total energy of the orbit is what? That is denoted by En. That is C. Kinetic energy is plus potential energy is the total energy, and a substitute what we have calculated just of kinetic energy. So it is a kinetic energy and a potential energy. Kinetic energy is what? It is positive, and it is C, it is negative, positive. See, it is a positive and it is negative. So here we have added them. Right? Kinetic energy and potential energy. And if you simplify, then what you get? You may get this is the formula minus here plus into minus only minus m e power of 4 by 8 n square h square epsilon r square. So from the above calculation, we observed that an electron revolving in hydrogen orbit has a negative potential energy by virtue of its attraction. By virtue meaning is what, because of, due to, that is due to its attraction, that is the meaning of by virtue of. Towards the nucleus, and a positive kinetic energy is by virtue of its motion. So it is a because of motion, it is a due to motion, that is a due to attraction. So kinetic energy is a due to motion and potential energy due to attraction. The negative energy. So again, total energy is also final energy is also negative energy. Signifies that what it explains. The electron cannot escape from the neutron, from the atom. So electron cannot escape from the atom. That is the meaning of it. So that means it is attraction. Okay. And next, a frequency emitted radiation or wave number. Okay. So when the electron jumps from higher level to lower level, then what happens? It emits the radiation, and the radiated energy contains h into nu. So what we have to calculate? Frequency we have to calculate. So frequency in the emitted radiation is how much? Okay. See here, from the total energy formula. So it is a total energy of second excited state, first excited total energy, and then take the difference of these two energy. Okay, and among them n2 square and n1 square keeping so that means except n2 square n1 square, take out remaining all cons outside. So then we get this is, and bring h this side. So the downside already on h is there. If you bring this h, it becomes h cube. So no one will change. And a new is what? C by lambda. Okay. So this is, and I keep 1 by lambda here. C bring C this side. So see, 1 by lambda can be written as a wave number. That is a new bar. And I see outside bracket term is called Rydberg constant. Rydberg constant. And its value is 10.9724 of 6 meter inverse. Right? So this is the things. Nu bar is 1 by r, 1 by lambda into where nu bar indicates wave number. It is called wave number. And the next, electron energy levels in hydrogen atoms. So when electron is revolving around the nucleus in hydrogen atom, then what is its energy? See, orbital energy of electron revolving in nth orbit is given by. So that is already we know the total energy of electron is m power of minus. This is, and except n here, except n, we know all the values number. So m is the mass of the electron, that is a 9.11 × 10⁻31, and E is the charge of electron, that is the 1.6 to 10 to the power minus 19. So power 4 is as it is 88, but epsilon term is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 whole square. Yes, square. N is as it is 1, but H is 6.625 into 10 to the power minus 34. So all the terms are taken in MK system only. So that is what is in joule. And see, joule is converted into electron volts by dividing with a number 1.6 to 10 to the power minus 9. Okay. So when you divide with this number, then joule will be converted into electron volts 1 by n square. So by doing this calculation, we get minus 13.65 n square electron volts. And the negative sign, again, negative term is the negative value is the negative sign indicates that electron is bound to the nucleus by attracting force. At negative indicates attraction. And to separate the electron from the nucleus, yes, energy must be supplied to it. How much energy must be supplied to remove the one electron from the atom of hydrogen? So if you apply this much of energy, then only it come outside. And see, it is the first energy. See here the E1. If you substitute the n values, n is equals to 1, n is equals to 3. Here is what it is. Sorry, it is 3. E1 is equals to put here n is equals to 1 here. Then what you get? The same term will get. So it is the energy of the first cell, and it is the energy of the second cell. Second cell is a L shell. It is K shell, L shell, M shell, and so on up to infinity. For infinity, no energy. Energy is 0. Okay. So it is a rare case. Okay. And now, what is happening here? The value you see, the value 13.6 for first and 3.4 for the second shell, and 1.51 is for third cell. So what is its meaning? First cell has the lowest energy. Negative, more negative means less value. See, its value is gradually increasing. So when we are moving away from the nucleus, energy of the shells are gradually increasing. So here 13.56 and here 3.4, here 1.5. So value gradually increasing. So that is the meaning of this. And next, that is the last one. Now we shall consider the energy level diagram. See this energy level diagram. This diagram can be drawn in terms of various electron orbit to separate orbit to the scale of the radii, but it is a customarily to draw the horizontal lines to the energy scale as shown in below. The lowest energy here, it is at the middle. See, just a small dot is let it's a nucleus. Around this nucleus, what is the first cell? It is the second cell, third cell, and it is the fourth cell. First cell is denoted by n is equals to 1, that is a K shell, and second cell is denoted by n is equals to, that is a L shell. So how we are moving in this direction? See, their energy is gradually increasing. So negative term, see, 13.5 value is lesser than the 3 minus 3.4 minus value is, so that is why it is very much low value, it is higher value. The energy of orbit which has a very much low, that orbit is called ground state, right? That is called ground state. So here the ground state of a hydrogen atom is a ground state energy of hydrogen atom is how much, 13.6. It is a ground state. And the first excited state atom, excited state of the hydrogen atom is 3.4 electron volts. So like this, this is a complete story of hydrogen atom. And here we have calculated a lot of things related to the hydrogen atom. So thank you, friend. So please subscribe it, and please watch till the end of this video. So don't forget subscribing this video. Thank you very much.